Alright, everybody, peace. Welcome to the STBY basketball show. Wherever I have you listening, we're so glad to have you with us. As you guys know, I'm Sean Cottle, and we have got a lot of content for you guys today. We are going to be discussing everything and anything Team USA basketball, both on the men's side and on the women's side. Both teams recently bouncing back from some interesting performances, to say the least. In our first segment of this show, we are going to be discussing the impact, or not the impact, I'll say we'll call it the impact of Team USA's loss to the WNBA All-Stars, what impact that will have on Team USA moving forward. And we will also be discussing in our second segment, is there cause for concern on the men's side with Team USA with their recent performances against South Sudan and Germany? Both close victories. South Sudan was come from behind victory, where Team USA was down by 14, and their victory against Germany was one in which they blew a double-digit lead. So we'll be talking all about that and then some, guys. But before we get started, if you haven't already, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well, so you guys can stay updated on all the latest content that we post daily. And if you'd like to gain access to our exclusive content that we post daily on Patreon, you can do so by going to patreon.com, clicking on the search bar, typing in Sarge Bobby the Show. That way you get access to all of our exclusive content that we post daily. And none of this is possible if you guys are fans, so we're so grateful and honored for all the love and support that you show us. So that being said, guys, let's go and get right into it. As I spoke about in our opening segue, Team USA recently lost to the WNBA All-Stars by a score of 117 to 109, led by Arike Gumbawale for the WNBA All-Stars, who tallied 34 points, while Caitlin Clark fell one assist shy of breaking the All-Star game record as a rookie, assist record in one game, and people were questioning whether Team USA has what it takes to be successful in the upcoming Olympics based on the recent performance against the WNBA All-Stars. And this is it's not a conundrum, but there are some nuanced details that need to be had when it comes to talking about this event, this game. So we have to understand that the showcase that the men's side is on, where they play about 4 or 5 tune-up games, and they had training camp to prepare for the upcoming Olympics. The women's side did not have that because their current WNBA season is going on right now. So all the players that are playing for Team USA right now on the women's side, this was their first game together after having only less than a week of practice, because we have to remember that the WNBA season just went into its intermission last week, a little over a week ago. So this Team USA roster has had less than a week to prepare, practice, and now their first tune-up game, you call it, is against the best players in the world in the WNBA All-Stars. Because you could very well make the case that this WNBA All-Star team would fare quite well in the Olympics, simply based off the talent. Not talking schematics and X and O's, but simply just off the talent level. This WNBA All-Star team will be the best team that Team USA faces in its cohesiveness during its run to the Olympics. That alone says everything that needs to be said about where Team USA, quote unquote, should be at, where people think they should be at, whether they're prepared or not. You're asking a lot for a team to have less than a week of practice to build chemistry, build cohesiveness, establish a foundation and culture, and you throw them up against the best competition that they'll face right away. No team is going to be prepared for that. Not to mention, neither side is trying to get hurt. We have to remember, this is still an event. This is an all-star game. It's not a showcase game where both sides are playing in the Olympics in these showcase games, like as it is on the men's side. This event right here with Team USA and WNBA All-Stars, neither side is truly trying to get hurt. That's why we didn't see much defense during this game. I mean, the score is 117 to 109. That's typical for an all-star game score, not typical for a WNBA game, let alone a FIBA qualifying game. So the score being 117-109 tells me there wasn't a lot of defense being played, and the intensity level was not where it would be at the level of the Olympics on the international level. Now, that doesn't mean there weren't pockets, there weren't spurts where there was high intensity of basketball being played on both the offensive, defensive end, but collectively as a whole, there was not much intensity because neither side wants to get hurt, particularly for Team USA. And you have to remember, the WNBA All-Stars, the women who won't be on Team USA, they need to remain healthy for the start of the second half of the WNBA season when it returns after the Olympics. So neither side is trying to get hurt. Both teams are looking to put on a show, looking to put on an event. We have to remember that this event, this All-Star game, was slated to be the highest rated All-Star game in the past 15 years for the WNBA. So you want it to be high scoring, you want it to be fast paced, you want it to be a lot of flashiness, a lot of oohs and ahs moments that's going to sell, because now the stars are in, and now that more people are tuning in to the WNBA, you want to keep that demographic locked in by keeping this All-Star event entertaining, and that's what it did. So the NBA is doing a good job marketing. I talked about before where the WNBA has now drawn in a new demographic in which they previously were not drawing in before, that being the young adult male, the large demographic for all sports. And now that that demographic is tuning in, you want to be able to keep that demographic, and the WNBA is doing that. To answer the question of this segment, there is no cause for concern for Team USA losing to the WNBA All-Stars because there simply have not been enough time for Team USA to develop yet. But if we look recently, last night actually, they handled Germany, who was slated to be one of the biggest opponents, one of the biggest threats to Team USA for the gold in this upcoming Olympics. Team USA handled Germany quite easily. There is no cause for concern for Team USA going into the Olympics. The WNBA All-Stars will be the best team that Team USA faces on its road to the Olympics. I think that says a lot. I want to give credit, though, to the rest of the international pool when it comes to the women's side of basketball. And just as I've stated before, in WNBA, this is the most talent that's been in the WNBA since its inception. Same thing goes for the international side. This is the most talent that has been in women's basketball in the past 30, 40 years, perhaps since its addition to the Olympics. France is going to be a threat or a good matchup for Team USA. Germany will be a good matchup, led by Satu Sabali. There are quite a number of teams that will be competitive and provide a good matchup for Team USA. I do believe that Team USA will win the gold, and the WNBA All-Stars will be the best team that Team USA faces. So on its road to gold. So there is no cause for concern. And I do want to address another topic, or another point that people were making, and that was that Rike Gumbawali should have been on Team USA, and so should have Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. And my question becomes, who will you remove? Who will you remove from Team USA's roster to replace those three players for those three? People were saying, well, you can take away Sabrina Ionescu or Kelsey Plum and put in Enrique Gumbawali. Enrique is a phenomenal player. She's one of the best, if not the best, scorer, just pure scorer in the WNBA. However, the same thing we talk about with the men's and why Jalen Brunson and Kyrie Irving and Jaylen Brown weren't on Team USA. Same thing applies for the men. It's about matchups. It's about chemistry. It's about style of play. We have to remember that Enrique Gumbawali with the Dallas Wings, she has the ball in her hands a lot. It sticks quite often because she's the only player on that team that can create her own shot and can create shots for others. So she's used to having the ball in her hands. But when it comes to Team USA, that's not something that they need. Why Kelsey Plum and Sabrina Ionescu are great fits for Team USA is because both of them can move well off the ball, both of them can score well off the catch, and both of them can still be proficient and efficient without having the ball in their hands. And that's not to say that Enrique can't do that. That's not what she naturally does. So you're better off by having players that can naturally do that, which is something that Sabrina and Kelsey do. And we have to remember that they have prior experience being on the previous Team USA team back in 2021. And people were advocating for Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark to be on Team USA as well. If you're telling me that Angel Reese is better than Afisa Collier or Brittany Griner or Alyssa Thomas or Breonna Stewart or Asia Wilson, if you're telling me that that Angel Reese is better than any of those players, then by all means, sure. And if you're telling me that Caitlin Clark is better than Jewel Lloyd, Chelsea Gray, or Jackie Young, then by all means, put them on the roster. But if not, then allow this team to win the gold. Their time will come. I can guarantee you, I will promise you, that Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and Enrique Gumbawali will all be on Team USA for the FIBA World Cup Championships, which will be in 2 years. But let everything else subside. Let the Team USA be successful. There's a reason that these players are on the team. What I will say, though, it's very interesting that Kara Lofton is not the Team USA head coach and that Dawn Staley is not on the Team USA coaching staff. And I'll leave it at that. In our next segment, guys, we will be discussing whether or not there should be cause for concern on the men's side in this upcoming Olympics, based off their recent performances against South Sudan and Germany. So be sure to stick around for that, guys. You're not going to miss it. Be right back. All right, everybody, welcome back. In case you missed the first segment of our show, we were discussing whether there were any cause for concern with Team USA women's basketball team after their recent loss to the WNBA All-Stars. And I explained to you guys why there was some cause for concern, because the lack of time the Team USA has had to build cohesiveness and develop, and also because of the fact that the WNBA All-Stars will be the best team the Team USA faces on this road to gold in the Olympics. But in this segment, guys, I want to discuss whether this should be cause for concern with the men's side for the Team USA basketball team after the recent performances against South Sudan and Germany. As you guys know, after the comments made by Noah Lyles last year, in which he stated that NBA champions should not be calling themselves world champions because they didn't beat the best teams in the world, they just beat the best teams in the NBA. That inspired the best players in the NBA to put their hat back into the Olympics. So we have the newest version of the Dream Team, led by LeBron James, Stephen Curry, Joel Embiid, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Jason Tatum, Drew Holiday. The list goes on and on. However, recent performances from against South Sudan and Germany are raising questions on whether or not there should be cause for concern with Team USA moving forward into the Olympics. What is the issue with Team USA? We have to remember, same thing I talked about in the last segment with play style. Same thing applies here at Team USA. After watching Team USA, they struggle with the same thing that the women's side struggle with, and that's lack of time to build cohesiveness and to build chemistry. Team USA will always have this issue. They will always have this problem until they build an actual farm system the same way these other international teams have, in which they have teams, they have guys start with the farm system and they build up, and they have guys attend all the international events, FIBA World Championships included, qualifiers. Team USA still has yet to prove that they're willing and able to do that, and until then they will struggle, especially with the way in which talent is increasing across the world, across the board. Gone are the days where Team USA can beat teams by 30 and 40 points. Gone are the days where Team USA can beat teams by 25 points. The talent has increased drastically throughout the entire world, and Team USA has to be willing to commit to the process that these other international teams have committed to, and that is forcing the star players to come to all the events, FIBA World Championships, qualifiers, exhibitions. We're the only country that doesn't do that, and it shows. We have the best players in the world, bar none, yet we still struggle against teams such as South Sudan. And that's taking nothing away from South Sudan. South Sudan is an extremely talented team with a lot of players with NBA experience and G League experience on it. However, if you're telling me a roster filled with LeBron James and Joel Embiid and Steph Curry and Devin Booker and Jason Tatum and Anthony Edwards loses to any team, I'm scratching my head and I'm asking why. And I'm telling you the answers now. That is why. That is why. Because Team USA as a whole has yet to be willing to commit to buying into the process as a whole of truly developing its organization. You just can't. You can't wait to the final hour to put in your starting quarterback. You can't wait until the sixth inning to put in your starting pitcher. You start with it's how you start. You build a solid foundation and you move up. Team USA thinks they can, they can win with just the whipped cream, with just the icing. But underneath that icing, there's no filling. There's no cake. It's nothing. So you can't win with just icing if you're Team USA. That's not going to work. Not anymore, at least. Is there cause for concern with Team USA? Because the only cause for concern I have is play style. The ball is sticking too much. With Team USA, there has to be more fluidity, and there has to be commitment to the defensive end. The reason people are so they're so drawn to, they're so astounded by the Redeem team. The reason there's so much majestic energy surrounded by that team is because there was a commitment to intensity. There's a commitment to effort. There's a commitment to playing within your role on that team, as well as that 2012 team, the Dream Team 2.0, as they stated it. Players like Kobe Bryant and Dwayne Wade and Chris Paul, even for that time, were willing to be pests, were willing to be maniacs on the defensive end, and they were willing to only shoot 3-4 times a game, but they were willing to put max effort on the defensive end. And something that's talked about in the Redeem Team, or the Redeem Team documentaries, that Kobe is how he talks about that he wanted to finally showcase how great of a defender he was, and he did. We're talking about someone who was the best player in the NBA at that time, solely focused on being the best defensive player, not worried about the shots he's going to get up. Who on Team USA is going to be willing to not shoot the ball and only play max effort defensively? We see that Drew Holiday has been able to do that, but that's what Drew Holiday is brought in to do. What superstar player on Team USA is going to be willing to not shoot the ball and to only play defense? There has to be one. It has to start with one, and once you see one is able to do it, other players will follow suit. I haven't seen that yet, which is a cause of concern for me with Team USA. Who should it be? It should be everybody. But we don't live in a utopia. We don't live in a perfect world. So it starts with one. All it needs to be is one person. And that person likely needs to be coming off the bench to bring that defensive intensity. The same way that Dwayne Wade came off the bench for Team USA in 2008. But someone has to be willing to be a pest. Someone has to be willing to be the defensive stopper on that team for Team USA. I will say this, the low post presence of Team USA has been phenomenal, led by Anthony Davis and Bam Adebayo. Joel Embiid looks like he's hurt. We have to remember that he's still recovering from the surgery he had during the NBA season, in which he was hobbled during the playoffs. So it's clear to see that he's still not healthy. He's still recovering. And that's something that should be taken into account when he was added to the roster. But having Anthony Davis come off the bench brings, with him adding that defensive intensity, maybe perhaps AD can be that guy who's solely worried about getting stops on the defensive end. AD has shown that he's still a tremendous low post presence on the defensive end, and he's taken his case for being one of the best players in the world with his performance so far. Now, what guard will be able to do that is my question. What wing player will be able to do that? Now, we also have to remember that Kevin Durant has yet to play with Team USA. He's still, I believe, recovering from an injury. So that will change things as well. That will change the dynamic as well. And one more thing, it's clear that Devin Booker should not be starting, not because of his talent level, but because of the cohesiveness and what Team USA needs in the starting lineup. They struggle a lot on the rebounding end when Devin Booker is in the starting lineup. So putting Jason Tatum in the starting lineup until Kevin Durant returns will be the best option for Team USA. I'm not sure why Steve Kerr has not done that, but we'll see moving forward if they're willing and able to make that change. I do believe that it's just something that Steve Kerr was playing with, and once group play starts for Team USA, I do believe that Kevin Durant will be in the starting lineup instead of Devin Booker. But during these past 3 or 4 showcase games, I do believe that Jason Tatum should have been starting instead of Devin Booker for rebounding purposes. But is there cause for concern with Team USA? I do believe Team USA will win the gold. But just because things work does not mean things can be better. There's always room for improvement, and the improvements need to be made hastily, because there will be a time where Team USA will have its best component, its best group of players available, and they will not win if they do not change their process and how their farm system works. Right now, they will win the gold. I can't guarantee that the next time around, though. That being said, guys, that's it for our show for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a wonderful show. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button and hit that like button as well, so you can stay up to date on all of our latest content. And if you'd like to support our network and our company, you can do so by following the link in the ticker below. It's streamelements.com/StartedBodyShow/tip. Once again, it's streamelements.com/StartedBodyShow/tip. None of this is possible without you guys, the fans, so we're so grateful and honored for all the love and support that you show us. We'll be back again same time tomorrow, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, guys, continue to stay safe, be vigilant, make smart decisions, and peace.